Saturday, I think it's the 29th of August. I'm going to make this Timothy Taylor Landlord beer, which I've been talking about. It's for my mate Rob's wedding, so that will sit proudly in the corner of the hall that we're going to have at the party, and we'll drink it happily and nicely and whatever. Anyway, hopefully a quick brew day. I'm trying to economise on my time. I want to actually go out this afternoon and do things. So with the backdrop of the hops, which are going really well, let's take you through the recipe and show you what I'm going to do. Anyway, today I'm going to make Timothy Taylor Landlord. I've got the recipes, all the ingredients together. Let's quickly zoom in and have a look. It's going to be 77% Pale Malt, 21% or 22% Munich, and about 0.9% of Black Malt. That's just for colour. We're going to bitter with 10 grams of Pilgrim and 30 grams of East Kent goldings. There. Here's all the grains, all bagged up yesterday. Going to for the last 10 minutes I'm going to stick some Willamette in, which is a substitute for Syrian goldings. We're going to mash for an hour and boil for an hour. I've already treated the water, which is over here. I'm actually boiling the whole lot in there first. I'm going to decant out the Sparge water into the bucket there. But I've got about 29 litres of water in there, which is being boiled up to 75 degrees. It's been treated with a Camden tablet to dissipate chlorine. Once I've decanted that water out into the bucket, I'm going to pop 3.9 millilitres of phosphoric acid into there to get the pH down, and then I'm going to top this these Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate into the water as well, to just bring it up to just a minimum level really. What else? Okay, let's look at the stats. So the OG is going to be 1043, bitterness 31 IBUs, colour 18 EBC. This should be about 20, but it's not going to be a problem. And the estimated ABV is about 4.3, which is basically what's more or less on the nose of the clone. I am doing 23 litres of this. I'm going to pop this into, I'm going to do 10 days of fermentation, and I'm going to decant it out to a plastic pressure barrel, and I'm going to condition for another 10 days at 12 degrees in the pressure barrel, and then it's going to go straight down to the party and we'll drink it. Bam bam. Okay, let's get going. The water is just coming up to the boil. Once I've got it up to 75 degrees, I'm going to pull out all but, let's have a look. I'm going to pull out all but 15 litres, which is going to be my mash water, and what will be left in the bucket will be 16.22. Okay, I think I've been looking at the wrong recipe, but what I'm going to do is to up my acid to 4.5 litres, which is, if you can see that there, it should be 4.5. I've got two recipes open, which is rather silly. Right, anything else? Nope, we're all set to go. Right, let's carry on. Okay. So my water's up to 75 degrees. I'm just going to take out all but 15 litres of this water. I'll pop it into this bucket here for about an hour. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, so this is my new time-saving technique. Obviously, water goes to there, stays there for an hour, comes down to maybe, loses a few degrees, but obviously I don't have to pass around and boiling it up separately. What I'm going to do is to set this temperature now down to my Sparge water, Sparge temperature, which is going to be 66 degrees today. Okay, so we'll wait till this comes down to 15. It's down to 25 at the moment. Okay, one thing to note is before I set up my Grainfather outside is I always level it out with a spirit level, because obviously if it's not level you're not going to get the measurements right. Okay, coming down to 20. So 19, 18, 17. Well, it's not 17. That's 17. That's just 16 there. Let's get a little bit more. And there we go. That's about just under 16. Right, I'll treat this water now. I'll stick my acid in. I've got my target pH of about 5.4. Hopefully, and what I normally do, I normally take my pH reading just about 15 minutes into the mash. Right, get the basket in there and mash in the grains. Okay, so what I'm doing today, I'm experimenting with underletting. What I've done, I filled the basket with all the grains, and I'm just slowly lowering in by about an inch at a time to let the grains, well, in theory, underlet. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work, but the only slight reason I could think is that the maybe the grain mix is quite thick. But anyway, I keep bringing it down by a few inches at a time. It's obviously quite a slow process, but in theory we'll get less dough balls. That's the theory, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this and I'll come back to you afterwards to see how we get on. It didn't turn out too bad actually. It does take a while to go down, but I think it's soaked up from the bottom quite well, and then I just obviously stirred the last bit in there, but it worked well. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to get the top membrane on, and we'll start doing the mash. Okay, so the mash is just starting. The temperature is just going down. It needs to be at 66, but I'm sure that'll be perfectly fine. We've got my extra filter in there, and I've got the other obviously bit underneath that now. So I'll leave this be. We'll come back in 15 minutes to check the pH. Let's look at the chemicals and stuff like that, pH specifically, and my reader is slightly off last time, so what I like to do periodically is to calibrate my pH meter. I mean, I think these electric meters are good for normally about 3,000 to 4,000 readings, but every now and again you need to calibrate it. So I went to a hydroponics place and bought this for maybe £4 or £5. This is a pH buffer, and what they normally do is they have one for, I think, a pH of 4. Excuse me, let's put this down a second. They normally have one for pH 4 and one for pH 7, and that will give you a more accurate reading. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use, I've only got 7 here, obviously. So I'll pour a little bit of it out into the container there, turn my pH meter on and pop it in there. And you can see it takes a pH reading. Now you can see it's actually out by 0.1, which is not too bad. It should be 7, so what I'll do, I've got a little screwdriver with the kit here. And I'll actually adjust the little grub screw in the back here. In the back here somewhere, there's a grub screw there. I'm looking. So what I'll do, I'll turn that around until that goes back to 7. Right, give me a second. So yep, it's all adjusted to 7. So it's slightly out. They do drift sometimes. It's not really accurate, but obviously I'll get it all right. Okay, it's going to switch that off a second. Just chuck this away. Just chuck in the water there for a second. But I think I've got 300ml in there, and I'd use about maybe less than 100ml every time I take a measurement or take a reading. So hopefully this pH buffer will last me maybe about a year and a half normal use. Anyway, I'm going to come back and take my pH reading of my my wort. I've just taken out of the my Grainfather. Obviously you can see I'm using a metal cup here to obviously dissipate the heat a bit. The reason we take the pH readings is to actually just make sure two things. One is that the final actual acidity of the wort is in a range that the yeast will like, and obviously if the yeast likes it, it'll actually eat more of the wort and ferment much better. And also it affects the flavour, the bitterness flavours and stuff like that. And also it actually tells you if it's, I mean normally there's an optimum pH range of I think about 5.4 to about 5.6. I think it's going to be about 5.3. But when you've got a good pH reading, this tells you that your wort is actually, the mashing is actually going to work at its most efficient in that temperature range. So I'm just going to take a reading of this wort here. It's now at 25 degrees. Okay, if you have a quick peek in there, it's nice. It's got a bit of a red colour to it. Obviously, with the laser is a bit red, but I think there's a bit more. It's a bit more perceptible. So what I'll do, I'll quickly jig it around a bit more. And hopefully, we'll get it down to maybe about 22, 23. Okay, it's gone down to 24 there. What I've got my little book here, and I'll just have a look and see what temperature it likes to be taken at. It says accuracy at 20 degrees there, look. So I've got to actually get this down to 20 degrees. Well, the water here is 22 degrees, so I'm a bit buggered really, aren't I? What I'll do, I'll pour out the water here, and hopefully this water here is a bit colder. Have a look. Yeah, it's about 21 degrees that is. So it should be okay. I'll just look towards water down. So it's going to be slightly off, but I don't think it's going to be off majorly, major amount. Like. Obviously, if you're in a hotter climate, you would. Obviously, if you're in a hotter climate, you would actually have to use ice, I suppose. Okay, it feels good. Okay, let's just take a reading now. Okay, so it's down to 21 degrees. I don't think it's going to get much colder than that. Let's take a pH reading. Pop the meter in and turn it on. Right, so it's gone down to 5.2. Let me have a quick look at my my system and see what pH I was targeting. Okay, my target is 5.43, my mash target pH, but actually it wasn't that. Yeah, I did go for 5.43, so it's actually come down much lower than I really wanted it. That said, it's not a big issue. 5.2 is really good too. I'm bluffing myself here, but yeah, I think that's fine. So yeah, we'll carry on mashing now, and once we finish mashing, we will sparge and then start the boil. So, following that reading with the pH, it was off. And I just want to check one thing. I've got my my carbonate alkalinity kit here. What I've done, I've taken 4 millilitres of my normal tap water and popped it in there, and I popped 4 drops of this indicator dye into there, which has made it go blue. And then what I've got here is a something called KH. And what I've done here, I've actually filled this syringe here with 100 millilitres of KH. And what I'm going to do is just add it to this liquid here, and that will actually eventually will turn pink. But I'll add a bit. I'll keep adding that until it goes pink. So I'll add a bit here. So add a few drops. I'll give it a bit of a stir. Not there yet. And this obviously will hopefully show me the alkalinity of the water. So you need to my water's quite hard here, so it's quite alkaline. But I'll keep adding a few drops. The way this works is that you measure the reading. What's left? Obviously, you measure what's left in the syringe here. Once it all goes pink or blue, is it pink? Yeah, it goes orange or pink colour. You can see now it's starting to go a bit clear. No, it's not. It's staying blue. Right. So what I intend to do here is just pop the new alkalinity reading into the into my I think I should have really done this before. I'll pop this alkalinity reading into my my water calculation and see what it says. Okay. So, how's it going? It tried to go cleaner, didn't it? Let's add a bit more, is there? Okay, are we there? Right, that's definitely gone pink, isn't it? Right, let's take a reading. So, we take a reading here and let me see. So what we do, take a reading of this, and this is, let's have a see what they say. Okay, hold the tip upwards, read the position now up and at the black part of the piston. So we're looking at 3 3.5. So if I come down here and 0.35, so we're looking at something between 102, no, 0.35, look, 102 and 99, or 9.9. That's the KH value, or the alkalinity is 365. Now I have to just do a quick calculation on some websites to actually work this out, but I'll come back to you afterwards and tell you what the result was. So what I've done, I put 10 in for my KH value. It's telling me my parts per million of parts per million for alkalinity should be 78.873. So I'll quick look at my chart, and as you can see I've got down 165, so I need to put 78. For 178, how much was it? Let's have a look. 0.87. Enter the system there. Let's have a look down here and see what. Now it says here my mash should be 5.44. So before it was, let's have a look, I put 5.43. So I don't know what's going on here because I was playing around this before, but I got the alkalinity right there, I'm sure I have, and it's just not calculating quite right. Something is wrong, I don't understand. So I put 4.5 milliliters in. So if anybody could point out to me where I'm going wrong here. Obviously I've got all my grains right here as well. Don't know. So yeah, I think I have to do more research maybe. Okay, let's wait till this mash finishes. At the end of the mash, I brought it up to a mash out 75 degrees. You can see we've got good colour there. What I'm going to do now is just raise the basket and start doing some sparging. And the reason I raise it, I think the reason people do a mash out is because they reckon it actually increases the well, it's like sugar. You're basically mixing the sugars and they get more and more fluid and more prone to fall out, and they flow through quite quickly. So what I'll do, I'll push this now down to the top of the grains. And I'll get rid of all these filters and all this crap. Don't need this. And what I'll also do is just pull this up a bit. Oh, that's hot. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I'm just going to do a slow sparge now, and that will rinse all the sugars out. Okay, so I collected 26.5 litres, and I just chopped it up to 28 litres, and I've got the mash efficiency of about 72.2, which is not great. I was looking for 1039 and I got 1035, but I think that once it's boiled down to around 20, 25, maybe 22ish, 23ish, it should actually be more or less 1043, which we're looking for. Anyway, let's have a look over here. It's up to 97 now. It's a bit frothy there. Hopefully we can start seeing it boil in a second. I've got my trusty paddle ready to go. Let's have a quick look. Not quite there yet. But this will chop up, and we'll come back to you. So I'll come back to you in a second once it is boiling. Okay, so we're just hitting the boil, getting a little bit of froth going up here. What I'll just do is just quickly stir it in, so we don't get it coming out everywhere. I normally do quite a little bit slightly smaller mash, a slightly smaller board, because I use corny kegs. Obviously this is going to go into a 23 litre pressure keg, but so what I'll do now, I'll just quickly stir it down until all of the yummy into this froth all goes back into the brew. This is the first, I think it's called hot break. Right, so we've got a ball there. I think so it's about 28 at the moment, so I'm going to boil for an hour. Hopefully that'll bring down to about 25. I may just boil it just a little bit longer to get it, so that I get the relative gravity down to what I'm at 1043. But we'll see. Right, let's get the hops. Okay, so I got some Challenger. No. I got some East Kent Goldings and some Pilgrim in there. That's going to go in there. These are pellets. These are going to go in now for the whole 60 minutes. Make sure we don't get any boil over, which we don't seem to be doing. And there we are, ready to go. Right, I'm going to leave that for about 50 minutes, then I will stick the next hop addition in. And once we're done there, we'll be ready to cool down and pop it into the fermentation vessel. Just emptied my spent grain. What we have here is just a recycling bucket. Bam. And what I do, I just invert the basket in there, and all my grain goes into there, and that's it. I've seen some people put it into bags and all sorts of stuff, but that's how quickly it is. It takes me about three seconds to pull my grain in there, and I'm done with it. And on Monday the cats will come along, take it away and make it into compost. So yeah, we're quite lucky here, and I don't have to worry about where it goes in the end. If I had a garden, I definitely would pop this into a compost heap now, but there it is, all done. Okay, so I'm down to the last 10 minutes. I'm just sterilising the water chiller. Just turn it off for a second, and we'll just take it off before it starts boiling over. Oops, this can be a problem. Shit. So I just bit my hand there. So yes, it's slightly challenging, that is. Okay, so I've got some proto flock there, and I got the last load of hops. Pop those in, and I'll just finish off for the last 10 minutes. Obviously it's quite a... Let's turn the boil off slightly for 5 seconds to get it down so it's not so bad. There we are. Okay, so leave those in for 10 minutes, and then we'll turn it down and stick it into the fermenter. I'm putting the water into the water bed today to use most of it. I'm just going to chill down. I'm going to chill right down to about as far as it'll go down actually, because I know that water temperature is only going to get down to about 21 degrees. But anyway, let's chill down there now, and we'll give it a while and let it go. Just decanting the water out into the fermenter now, and I'm just taking a hydrometer reading with my hydrometer. I'm looking for 1043 ish. So let's have a look what we got. If this thing will focus, obviously. 1040. So that's 1040. It's 1040. About 1042. That's good. I was looking for 1043, but I'm quite happy with that. It's got to be a session beer anyway. But you can see it's come out nice and clear now. So hopefully that will come true in the final brew as well. Hello. It's the end of the brew day. Well, not quite the end. You always got the customary cleaning to do. It's about 2:30. I started 11:30, so that's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 hours. It's not too bad, I suppose, is it? I'm slightly under my original gravity I wanted. I got some like 1041s you saw just then, and maybe about 1042. But I think we'll have to see how well the yeast attenuates. It may attenuate a little bit better, maybe. Overall, it's a good day as ever. I'm just going to now put pitch yeast. Got some SO4, pop it in there, stick it in the temperature controlled fridge for about 10 days. Pop it out, shove it into a keg, shove the keg into the fridge, and do that 10 days in there, and take it out and take it to the wedding and drink it. So yeah, that's about it. As ever, if you like what you're seeing, maybe not. Please subscribe, like, dislike, whatever you want really, and I'll see you all when we pop it out into the keg. Obviously do this kind of grain to glass type of idea, and so there you go. So I've managed to fill my my water butt right to the top now, and I'm still pushing water out away over there, which is going down the drain. I've watered my plants a little bit, but that's cool. Okay, I'll catch up with you all soon. Have a good day, a good weekend. Bye. Well, it's about 2 days down the line, as you can see. We have a ferment going on. Looks like lots of little fruit flies trying to get into the beer by the look of it. Lots of them floating around there, but that's not going to happen.